I've talked to a lot of marketers and they're like, yeah, this year was, we look at pipeline and some months it's really good and some months it's really bad. And to then turn around and compound it by looking at people in your network and people that you are trying to learn from. And they're saying, hey, if you're doing this way, this is wrong, is really hard, just like mentally and emotionally for everyone, I think, just in marketing. Because for me, I always come back to, if it's working for you, keep doing it. Like if you've done something and this playbook is working for you and your organization is still doing well with it, just because you've seen 4 or 5 people on LinkedIn or you're at a conference and they're saying it's the wrong way to do it, take it with a grain of salt. You don't have to change what you're doing. Now, on the flip side, if they're sharing stuff and it really resonates with you and you want to test it and try it, I think it's a great place to start getting ideas and do those tests, but do test it. Don't just take it as like gospel of like, oh, someone said this is the right way to do it. I'm going to do a big shift. And if it doesn't work for you, I think you have to come in with a little less ego and say like, if this doesn't work, that's okay. I think there's so much gray area in marketing of what's good and what's bad. And every organization is different and every buyer is different. So I've marketed to marketers. I've marketed to people in cybersecurity. What works to drive demand with someone in cybersecurity is vastly different than what works to drive demand from someone in marketing. And so I think just looking at things in very black and white can be hard on us. So from a demand gen perspective, test it for your own org and your own audience before you think it is the end all be all.
It reminds me to our first launch episode of Donuts in Demand, and LaShawna Jackson from Intuit MailChimp was on, and she was talking about how at one point in time, every marketer out there was like, email is dead, email is dead. And it was just like this thing that just someone said it, someone grabbed onto it. And all of us were kind of what are you talking about kind of thing. But yet we just kept regurgitating it out. And you're so right. Just because one big old talking head says it and a few other people say it at a conference and, they might run some ads against you with that messaging, unless you really know that that is true in your own organization and your buyers and your personas, exactly, take it with a grain of salt. Don't take it absolutely at face value.